What I thought, why not create a video tutorial on the Salesforce so that people who are just starting into Salesforce, they can have a basic idea, so that in spite of going through the whole 200 pages book, they can just refer to that video. So I will go through all the steps which are provided in the book, and I will convert them into steps and record them in video, so that you can always find it easy to learn the complete Salesforce app creation. So for that, first we need to go to developer.force.com, and we can click on join now and make a free account there. Salesforce provides a free trial account for every user who can create an account and work on Salesforce. So what I have done, I have already created an account. I have logged in into my account. So this is my default screen. We have all our tabs here. So for creating app, what I will do, I will go to the setup mode, click on my name, go to setup. Now we are on the setup. As we know, Salesforce is used to create on-demand apps as per our requirement and all. So whenever you log into a setup, you can find your personal information here. These are some default information, your email, your license, and what all you have. But for the sake of this tutorial, we will be working mostly in this app setup area. And in the next tutorial, then we will try to work on the security scenario and user management and all, data management user. Then we will work in this administration setup area. I cannot combine both the lecture into one video, otherwise the video will become too large and it will take a lot of time in processing and uploading. So what I have thought, I will start with app creation in this, then we will move to security overview in the next tutorial, and then in third tutorial we will learn a bit about the coding part as well, the programming part as well. So for creating an app, although you can click on add app here itself, or you can go to go to create and click on apps. So the app which I am creating is already given in the force.com workbook. It's just that I am going through all the steps on my own, and so that it becomes easier for everyone to see and learn. So what I will go, I've got into the app. App is the complete, like we see here, sales. Sales is the app. Call center, marketing, these all are apps. Once we create our app also will be seen here. So when we click on quick start, it will take us to the quick app development page. So here we need to provide our app name. I will name it warehouse. In this app we will be tracking three things: merchandise, inventory, and invoice. Like we say, in every warehouse we have inventory items. When we sell something, we have to create an invoice, issue an invoice, and we have the merchandise. So what we will do, it is asking for the first thing which you need to track. So I will type in here merchandise. I will just show you, and as we will move on through the steps, things will become clear automatically. So make sure that you watch the complete video, because unless and until you don't watch the complete video, you will not understand. It might be a bit confusing in the beginning, but slowly as we move ahead, because we will go through all those things, validation rules, formulas, workflows and everything. Then click on go to my app. So once we click on go to my app, it will take you to your own. It will take some time because this is a new app. So see, we click on no thanks. See, we have our app name here, warehouse. This is our app merchandise tab. As this is the first object which we are tracking, it has automatically added it to the tab. But we will see in the later part of the video, when we create an object ourselves, then we need to add it to the tab. So we will go to setup, and once we are in setup, then we can see we are back. This is the area where we work. The area which we were before, it's actually for the people who use that app. But the people who are developing that app, they need to work on this area itself. So this is all app menu. And when you go to merchandise, let's go back to merchandise. See, if we go to merchandise, we have recent merchandise. We can always go and click on new records here. So this is the tab area. Here we can create new records for merchandise. And when you create new records, you can see recently viewed and all there here. As we will move on video, we will get to know all these things. So now we have created an object called merchandise. So now the next issue is what all we need to track into this merchandise. So merchandise is actually a group of total items which we have, the information about the items which we have in a store. Like what all total inventory we have, what are their price, what is there. We can also give some description about each and every object. So we need to track that into a merchandise. So we will go to create, Whenever we have to work on a standard object which is provided by Salesforce, then we go to customize. We can find accounts and there. But when we have to work on an object which we have created, then we need to go to create and click on objects. Here we can see our merchandise object here. We will click on merchandise. Now as I told you that, see, as we have, this is a custom object, we have merchandise _C. If you go to a standard object, you will not see this C here. This shows that this is a custom object and it has been created by the user. So these are related attributes to this object. We have triggers, validation rules and everything. So first we will go and create custom fields. These are the fields which will give more information about this object. So we will click on new. It's a time consuming process and a slow process. We have to go through 5-6 steps for every field. So let's add a description field for the merchandise object. So first we will click on text area, we will click on next. Then we will give it a name called description. You can give a slide description. This description is not about the project. This description is actually about the field itself. So you can say this is description about the inventory item, so that if you are not on the job, you and somebody else is seeing your app, you can actually able to recognize what you have done here. So we will click on next. Then again we will click on next. Then we will click on save and new. If you click on save, then it will take us to the back page. Since we have to create 2 more fields, I will directly click on save and new. So we are back onto our, these are actually, I forgot to tell you that these are data types for which every field we create, we have to mention the data type, what data type that field will be holding. So it becomes for the Salesforce at the backend to understand the type of the field and for the business logic to be clear. So now we need to add a field called price about each and every item. So we will select currency as our data type. We'll click on next. So let's name this field level as price. A price could be in decimal as well, in cents, or as in Indian rupee it could be paisa. So we will click on 16:2 to make it the field required, so that the user is not able to save this field unless and until he enters this value. We can click on this required field. So now the user cannot leave this field blank. Then we again have to pass through those normal steps. These are actually security steps which we will work. We can see field level security. So when we will studying field level security, then we will go through these steps. So again we are on the same page. See, it's asking for the merchandise layout. This is the page layout for merchandise. So when we click on open link in new tab, so this is when we click on new. So that is what is called the merchandise page layout. See, we have the description field here. So it's asking that whether to add this field to this layout or not. So we will keep it check. So now we click on save and new. Now if we refresh this page, see, we now have the price as well here. So we can see the price field. We have added that to as page layout. So now we will add another field called total inventory to track how many number of items are there. For that we can use this number data type. We can click on next. We'll close this. Let's name this total inventory. I will make it capital T so it looks good. And even though we are giving a space in between, but Salesforce will append that space to underscore. If you want to make this field required, always have this required. Click on next. Then again we will leave the defaults as it is. Again click on next, and now we will click on save, because we have created all the 3 fields which we needed for our merchandise object to track. So we can see here we have this. We will also work on master detail relationship and all. We will see how they work. They are also created at the same place. Now since we have added this feeds, now let's go to Merchandise and create some records so that when in the future we work on this app we have some records with us. We can click on new. We will use the same names as used in the Salesforce Force.com workbook to remove ambiguity, so that if we are referring to the workbook along with this video tutorial, it becomes easier for us. Price is mentioned at 9.99. Total inventory, let's say we have 2000 items. We can always click on save, or if we want to create more fields we can click on save and new. So this will help you rapidly create new items. So let's say we call it first ABC Jet. Let's leave the description. Let's $8 total inventory. Let's say we have 1500 items. Click on save and new. So I will quickly go through the save and new process, and we'll create more and more fields. So now we have created few of our fields. Now we will go back to our setup menu and click on objects. Now we will add more objects to it, because there is no use of having a single object. We need to create multiple objects, then we need to have relationship among them. So we will create a new custom object. Now this is the object which will track the invoice. So here we will name it as invoice statement. So see here, as I told you that time, we need to just append an S at the end. Invoice statements. It's starting with a plural vowel sound, so we will click on vowel sound here. Here we have the record name and all, so we can change it. Let's name it to invoice number, because in every invoice we have a number, and let's make it to auto number. What auto number will do, it will automatically increase the number automatically on the invoice as a new invoice is created. So it will save your work a lot, and it will help prevent mistakes. So first we need to give a default format. So I give it a format 0000, and we need to give it a starting value. So now let's say I give it a starting value. So first invoice will be in INV-0001, next 0002. Let's click on allow records, allow activities, because if we not allow activities we will not be able to use these items into our reports and dashboard, which we will work later. So if we want to have, there are other activities as well which we need to create on our on our object. So if we don't allow these reports and all, we cannot use them. So we will click on save. Now once we have created an invoice statement object as the merchandise object, in the similar fashion this object will also have some fields. So we will go to custom fields in relationship and create a new field. So first field we will create is pick list. So see, slowly we will cover almost all the fields in this app. Earlier we have covered text area, currency and number. Now we are going to pick list. So let's call it status. As we all know, pick list is a field where we click on that and it's a drop down list. We can select our item, so we need to provide those items in the beginning. So all the value of the item we need to give on separate line inside this box. Its status means that whether the deal has opened or deal has been closed, or we are still negotiating on the money part and all. So we will provide all those values, and we will use first value as default value. So even though if somebody does not click on it, it still have the open status by default. So we will click on next. These are same security steps, and again we will click on save and new, because we will have to create more fields. So we are back to our field page. Let's add a description field to this object as well, so that user understand what's all this is about. So we click on next. I will just skip this step. I will create it on my own, and I will not include this in video. So I have created the description field as well, because we have already created, so I didn't found it good to show in the video, because the video size will increase unnecessarily. So now we have these two fields in the object called invoice statement. Now let's go to object once again and create a new object called line item. So line item means each and every item which we have in our the category of items which we have. So we'll call it line item. We'll go to plural. We will now name a line items. It's not starting with a vowel sound. See, even though we gave space in between, the Salesforce appends it to underscore. So we always for the programming purpose and to track it in the API name and everything. So we need to append this to underscore. So let's go below. Since line item is a name, it's not a number, so we will leave it to name. We'll click on allow reports and we will click on save. So now we will add some field to this line item as well. Let's see, every line item has a unit price. In inventory we also had a price field, but in invoice statement, but invoice comprise of many line items. So that price is actually the total price of the line items, and this price is a price of individual line item. An invoice can have 5 or 6 items. Like if you go to grocery, you can buy a toothpaste, chocolate, lot of things. So combining that is an invoice statement. So that price is actually the price, total price, and this is the price of individual line item like a toothpaste or whatever. So we will click on unit. We will name this as unit price. And let's go to this field and click on 16 and 2 because it could be also in cents and pesos. If you want to make it required, you can click on always have a required value. I don't know whether they have made it in their app. I don't remember it actually now. So we'll click on next. And click. I think I missed out one thing. Okay. So what we will do, we will not make it a required field, but we will make it a read-only field. If we select required field, we will not have that read-only. Now we have that read-only, so we will click on read-only so that no one is able to change apart from the administrator. And so we will have this line item. Let's add this field to line item layout and click on save and new. Now we will click on number of units sold so that number of units multiplied by the unit price, then it will give us the inventory price. How is invoice price? How this is the way the invoice function, because we have number of items, we have unit price, then we multiply them, then we get a total price. Next item, number of items, unit price, multiply total price, and then bottom total invoice value. So this is the default invoice way how it works everywhere. So now we will create a new field called units sold. So let's make it number, because it will be number of units sold. So when it will be multiplied by the unit price, it will give you the total value. So let's name it units sold. When you click on tab, it automatically fills this field and it automatically appends that the name to underscore. Let's click on next. We quickly go through these steps next, because these are the steps which we have to go again and again when we create each and every field. So we have created unit price and number of units sold. So we can see here that now on this page at the bottom we have number, units price and units sold. Now since we have created these fields, now let's work on some relationship. Now we have this line item. So what we will do, we will create a relationship between line item, merchandise and invoice statement, which will help us, like if a value for an item is entered into the merchandise, so line item can directly pick that value from the merchandise itself. That's why we created it. So we now click on new. Even to create relationship, we have to go to the same custom field and relationship. See, we have this master detail relationship here. Master detail, when we create a master detail relationship, master detail is like a parent-child relationship, and the object on which we create this relationship, that object is the child, and the object it will refer to will become parent. And there is one more thing. See, unless and until an object is not a master of a child, we don't have this roll-up summary highlighted. It's disabled. So once I will click on this master detail relationship, I will show you how it works. Click on next. We are on line item currently, so line item will be child. So now it is asking us to select the parent. So we have, let's create merchandise as the parent. So whenever the price is entered into merchandise, that price moves to the line item automatically. So we create a relationship between them. Okay. So now we have related it to the merchandise object, and we will give a merchandise name as well. This is child. See, we have here child relationship name. So we click on next. But we will not show this field on the merchandise layout. This will be a field only on the line item layout. Line item we have. So we will deselect this from merchandise layout because we don't want to show line items on the merchandise layout. We just need to have the price from there. We have a price field on line merchandise object. So we'll click on save and new because we have to make more relationship on that. So we are now back to our field type page. Now we will create another master detail relationship, and we will link this line item to the invoice statement as well. So I have selected master detail and I will click on next now. Now this time I will select the invoice statement because we have already selected merchandise, so that merchandise will not be there in the drop down list. We will just click on this and it will automatically fill that by invoice statement. Click on next. We will go through the default steps. Again click on next. Again click on next. So I need to show you something after this step. So even though I don't have to create a new field, but I will click on save and new. And what I wanted to show you is that now master detail relationship has grayed out. So a child can have only two master detail relationship. And if we go to a different object here, like say I click on open link in new tab, I have this roll up summary grayed out. So if I go to a merchandise object, since merchandise is a parent of line item, and if we click on new, so it will show you roll up summary. So by this roll up summary field, what we can do, we can aggregate the fields of the child, like we can have number of items there, total of those items, average of those items. So our master can work on the field of child. It can aggregate the field. And in earlier version of Salesforce, we could have only one level deep master detail relationship, but now we can have master detail and then one more detail relationship since Winter 13. So see, now we have created this two, it's grayed out on the line item object. That's what I wanted to show you. But since it's a child, so we don't have roll up summary. The roll up summary fields get activated on the master because master can roll up the summary of the child. So you can think of master details similar to a parent child relationship. Now since we have created three objects, merchandise, line item and invoice statement, and what we can do, since we see merchandise as a tab here, we do not have the other two. So what we will do, we will add invoice statement. For that we will click on create and click on tabs. Although this option is always also available when we create an object, but to show how to create a tab, I will show you separately. Click on create, click on tabs, click on new. So here we have all the objects which we have created. So we have created two objects. We will show invoice statement. Here you can choose the tab style. It's about the color, and so you can take any one out of these. Let's take form and click on next. See, we have this green color. We will just go through the default values and we'll click on save. Once we click on save, now you can see we have invoice statement here. So when we click on invoice statement, since we have selected this as a green, so see, we have a green tab here. If we go to merchandise, it's a red color tab. So we will have a red color tab. See, we have this red color tab here. It's about the look and feel, nothing as such. Now since we have created an invoice statement tab, let's add some record to the invoice statement. Now we will click on new and we state so let's name it this is first invoice statement. Sorry, I did a typo there. When we click on save, I will just show you something. See, we have this invoice number automatically here because we used it as automatic number. Next time when we create a new invoice, we will have this too. And one more thing, since line item is a child of invoice statement, we have that line item in this related list area. This area is called related list, related the fields items related to particular object. So since we have child there, so we have this line item, although we do not have created a tab for the line item object, but still we can add line items from the related list. So let's click on line item, new line item, and let's add one line item. So let's the first thing it's asking for line item name, and although it could be anything, we can click on one. Now since we have this, let's create 10 unit price, maybe 10. Let's have this unit sold 4. And since we have this merchandise as a master, so we can always search for the merchandise. See, we have created these 3 merchandise, so we can always select any of the merchandise. Let's select VJet. So this will automatically pick its values. Let's click on save. So if we click on this, the line item which we have created, see, we have here merchandise. It's related to merchandise VJet. Okay, so if you want, you can click on clone and add more and more fields to it. Let's create one more field. Let's name it 2. Let's say it's 12. Let's say number of items sold. This is, you can create any amount of field you want. Now let's link it to a different merchandise object, different merchandise record. Clear search results. Let's link it to XYZ. Click save and new. Let's name it number 3. Then let's say its price is $4, or let's say units sold are 19. Now again we can link to a merchandise object because we have that master detail relationship. So we can now select ABC jet, and we can always have this invoice statement. So the invoice statement which we added to this item will also get added to that invoice statement. So the invoice total will increase. Since we have created only one invoice statement, we will click on save. Now as I told you that in the invoice statement we have a line item units sold multiplied by price. So let's automate that process as well, and as soon as we select a line item, it automatically gets multiplied to its price and gives us a total value. So we'll go to objects and we'll click on line item. Now we will see some more field types. So here what we will use a formula field. Let's click on new, and we will scroll down. Here we have this formula field here. We'll click on next. For every formula field we need to give a return type. Sorry. So let's name it a value, and let's say that return type is currency. Okay, so it will give us the price. It will multiply the number of line items with the unit price, and it will automatically give this value in the invoice statement. So this is the formula field wherein we can use the field called unit price and number of units sold. So we have line item there. Let's click on unit price. We have this unit price C. We have this underscore C because to show that it's a custom field. Now let's use a multiplication operator. Also you can use this insert operator from here, multiply, and let's move it to unit sold. So now it automatically, let's click on check syntax. So it's showing that everything is good, no syntax errors. So once we click on next, These are some default security steps which we need to go through in every field. We will see what all security is available in Salesforce in a later video. So let's click on save. So now we can see here we have this value called value. It's a formula field. It will automatically get calculated once the user enters unit sold. Unit price it will get from merchandise, and once user enter number of units sold, it will multiply and give this value. This value will get reflected in the invoice statement. For that we will use Rollup summary field. I will pause this video here. I am having a bad throat, so I will have and go on some water. So we are back to our line item field. What I was thinking, let's not rush through the video for the sake of video size. What we can do, we can break these videos into small parts, say of half an hour chunk, and we can create multiple videos. So will be of no use for anyone if I just go through them fast for the sake of keeping the video size small. So what I will do, I will stop this video here, and from the next step I will create a new video as a part 2, so we can have the next remaining steps into that next video. So for this video let's depart, and I will now move on to the second video. I will stop this recording here, and the continuation steps I will show them into the second video.